Maria Santos looked at the clock on the wall. It was already 6 in the evening. She had been working since early morning. Her feet hurt. Her back hurt. But she could not stop yet. She still had 2 more hours of work at the diner before she could go home. She wiped down another table and carried the dirty dishes to the kitchen. The smell of fried food filled the air. It was the same smell that stuck to her clothes every single day. No matter how many times she washed her uniform, the smell never fully went away. Maria was 35 years old. She was a single mother with 2 children. Marcus was 12 years old. His sister Sophia was only 6. Their father had left them 3 years ago. He never sent money. He never called. It was like he had disappeared from the earth. Every day was a struggle for Maria. She worked 2 jobs to pay the bills. During the day, she cleaned offices in the downtown area. At night, she worked at Joe's Diner, serving food to customers. She barely had time to sleep. But she never complained. Her children needed her. The rent was due in 5 days. Maria had saved most of the money, but she was still short by $50. She also needed to buy groceries. The refrigerator at home was almost empty. There was only some old bread, a little bit of milk, and 2 apples. That was not enough to feed 2 growing children. Maria thought about Marcus. He was growing so fast. His pants were now too short for him. His shoes had holes in them. The other kids at school had new clothes and nice things. Marcus never complained, but Maria could see the sadness in his eyes when he looked at what other children had. Last week, Marcus came home from school very quiet. He went straight to his room. Maria knew something was wrong. She sat on his bed and asked him what happened. At first, Marcus did not want to talk. But then he told her. Some boys at school had made fun of his old shoes. They laughed at the holes. They said his family was poor. Maria felt her heart break. She hugged her son and told him that having old shoes did not make him less important. She told him that she was working hard to give him a better life. She promised him that things would get better. Marcus hugged her back and said he understood. But Maria could still see the hurt in his eyes. She wanted to buy Marcus new shoes. She wanted to buy Sophia a new dress. She wanted to fill the refrigerator with good food. But every time she saved a little money, something went wrong. Last month, the car broke down. She had to spend all her savings to fix it. She needed the car to get to work. Without the car, she would lose her jobs. The manager of the diner called out to Maria. "Table 5 needs water." Maria hurried over with a water pitcher. She smiled at the customers and filled their glasses. She always tried to smile even when she was tired. Good service meant good tips, and she needed every dollar she could get. After her shift ended at 8 o'clock, Maria quickly changed out of her uniform. She was supposed to pick up Sophia from the daycare center before they closed at 8:30. But first, she needed to get groceries. She had exactly $30 in her wallet. It had to be enough for food to last until her next paycheck. Maria thought about what she needed to buy. She made a careful list in her mind. Bread, milk, eggs, rice, some chicken, and maybe a few vegetables. She had to choose the cheapest brands. She had to look for items that were about to expire because those were cheaper. She had to count every penny. She decided to send Marcus to Palmer's corner store to buy the groceries. The store was just 2 blocks from their apartment. Marcus was old enough to shop by himself. And this way, Maria could pick up Sophia on time. She would meet Marcus at home. Maria drove to their small apartment. It was in an old building on the poor side of town. The paint was peeling. The hallway smelled bad. But it was home. It was all they could afford. Marcus was sitting on the old couch doing his homework. His books were spread out on the coffee table. The table had 1 broken leg, so they had put books under it to keep it steady. Marcus looked up when his mother walked in. "Hi, Mom," he said with a smile. Marcus always smiled when he saw his mother. He loved her so much. He knew how hard she worked for him and Sophia. "Hi, baby," Maria said. She kissed the top of his head. "I need you to do something for me. I need you to go to Palmer's corner store and buy some groceries. Can you do that?" "Yes, Mom," Marcus said. He closed his books and stood up. Maria took out her wallet and gave Marcus the $30. She also gave him a list she had written on a small piece of paper. "Buy only what's on this list," she said. "And Marcus, please be careful with the money. This is all we have until I get paid again." "I will, Mom, I promise," Marcus said. He took the money and the list carefully. He put them in his pocket. "Get the cheapest brands," Maria said. Look for the store brand, not the name brand. And check if there's any bread that's going to expire soon. They sell it for less. Same with the milk and the vegetables. If they have any bruised fruit, get that. It's cheaper, Marcus nodded. He understood. He had done this before. He knew that his family had to be careful with money. He knew that every dollar mattered. I'm going to pick up Sophia now, Maria said. I'll be back in 20 minutes. You should be back by then, right? Yes, Mom, Marcus said. Maria hugged her son. Thank you for helping me, Marcus. You're such a good boy. I'm so proud of you. Marcus felt warm inside when his mother said that. He wanted to make her proud. He wanted to help her. He wished he could do more. He wished he could get a job and give her money. But he was only 12. All he could do was be good and help her when she asked. Maria left to get Sophia. Marcus put on his jacket. It was getting cold outside. Fall was here, and soon it would be winter. He would need a warmer jacket, but he did not tell his mother. She had enough to worry about. Marcus picked up the old backpack he used for school. He would put the groceries in it. He checked his pocket to make sure the money and the list were still there. Then he walked out of the apartment and headed to Palmer's corner store. The streets were busy. People were coming home from work. Cars drove by. Marcus walked carefully on the sidewalk. The store was just a few blocks away. He had been there many times before. As he walked, Marcus thought about his mother. She worked so hard. She was always tired. He wished he could make her life easier. He wished they had more money. He wished his father had stayed. Maybe then his mother would not have to work 2 jobs. Maybe then they could afford nice things. But wishing did not change anything. Marcus knew that. He had to accept their life the way it was. His mother always told him that being poor did not make them bad people. She said that what mattered was being kind and honest and working hard. Marcus believed her. He reached Palmer's corner store. The sign above the door was old and faded. The store was small and not very clean, but the prices were lower than the big supermarket across town. That was why his mother sent him here. Marcus took a deep breath and pushed open the door. A small bell rang as he entered. He was ready to buy the groceries his family needed. He had no idea that his life was about to change forever. Marcus walked into Palmer's corner store. The bell above the door made a small ringing sound. The store was not very big. There were 4 aisles with shelves full of food and other items. The floor was old and dirty. Some of the ceiling lights were not working, so parts of the store were dark. Behind the counter stood Mr. Palmer. He was the owner of the store. He was a big man with a round belly and a red face. He had gray hair and small eyes that always seemed to be looking at people with suspicion. He did not smile much. Most people in the neighborhood did not like him, but they shopped at his store because it was close and the prices were low. Mr. Palmer looked up when Marcus entered. His eyes followed the boy as Marcus walked toward the aisles. Marcus could feel the man watching him. It made him uncomfortable. He tried to ignore it and focused on his mother's shopping list. Marcus took out the piece of paper from his pocket. He read the list carefully. Bread, milk, eggs, rice, chicken, and some vegetables. His mother had written next to each item, "Get cheapest," or "Look for sale," or "Day old is fine." He picked up a small shopping basket and started walking down the first aisle. He looked at the bread section. There were many kinds of bread. Some cost $5, some cost $3. At the bottom shelf, he found the store brand bread. It cost $1.50. Next to it was a basket with bread that was going to expire tomorrow. The sign said reduced price 50 cents. Marcus picked up 2 loaves of the 50-cent bread. His mother always said that day-old bread was just as good. They would eat it within a day or 2 anyway. Saving $1 on each loaf meant more money for other things. He moved to the next aisle. He needed milk. The name brand milk was $4. The store brand was $2.50. But then Marcus saw another section. It was a small refrigerator with milk that was going to expire in 2 days. It was only $1.50. Marcus checked the date carefully. His family would finish the milk before it expired. He took 1 carton and put it in his basket. As he shopped, Marcus was very careful. He checked every price. He compared the costs. He made sure to get exactly what his mother had asked for. He picked up a dozen eggs for $1. He found a small bag of rice on sale. He got some chicken that was marked down because it needed to be sold today. At the vegetable section, Marcus looked for the cheapest options. The fresh vegetables were expensive, but there was a basket with vegetables that had small bruises or brown spots. The sign said, "Discount produce, half price." Marcus picked through them carefully. He found some tomatoes, onions, and potatoes that were still good to eat. They just had small marks on them. His mother could cut off the bad parts. Marcus felt proud of himself. He was doing a good job. He was staying within the budget. His mother would be happy, but every time he picked up something from the discount section or the day-old section, he could feel Mr. Palmer watching him from behind the counter. The man's eyes never left him. It made Marcus feel like he was doing something wrong even though he was not. There were a few other customers in the store. An older woman was looking at canned goods. A young man in a suit was picking up some items quickly. And in the back of the store, near the last aisle, Marcus could hear someone moving around, but he could not see who it was. Marcus finished collecting all the items on his list. His basket was heavy now. He carried it carefully to the counter. His heart was beating fast. He always felt nervous when he had to talk to Mr. Palmer. The man was not nice to children, especially children like Marcus who came from poor families. Marcus placed the basket on the counter. Mr. Palmer looked at the items and made a face. He picked up each item slowly, looking at them with disgust. "Day-old bread," Mr. Palmer said loudly. "Expired milk. Bruised vegetables," he shook his head. "Let me guess. Your mama sent you here with food stamps, didn't she?" Marcus felt his face get hot. "No, sir," he said quietly. "I have money. Cash money," Mr. Palmer laughed. It was not a nice laugh. "Cash, huh? Well, let's see this list your mama made for you." He reached out and grabbed the paper from Marcus's hand. Marcus wanted to pull it back, but he did not dare. Mr. Palmer unfolded the paper and started reading it out loud. "Bread. Get day-old or cheapest." Mr. Palmer read in a mocking voice. "Milk. Whatever is expiring soon. Eggs, dollar store brand. Rice, cheapest bag. Chicken, marked down as fine. Vegetables. Get bruised or damaged, they're cheaper." Mr. Palmer's voice got louder with each item. The other customers in the store stopped what they were doing and turned to look. Marcus felt like he wanted to disappear. His face was burning with shame. He looked down at his old shoes and wished he could run away. Well, Mr. Palmer said with a mean smile. "Isn't this something? Your mama sure knows how to shop poor, doesn't she?" "She's just trying to save money," Marcus said quietly. His voice was shaking. He felt tears starting to form in his eyes, but he tried hard not to cry. He did not want to give Mr. Palmer the satisfaction of seeing him cry. "Save money?" Mr. Palmer laughed again. "Is that what you call it?" "I call it being cheap. I call it being trashy. Tell me, boy, does your mama work? Or does she just live off the government like all the other lazy people in this neighborhood?" "My mother works 2 jobs, Marcus said, his voice getting stronger. He was angry now. How dare this man say bad things about his mother? His mother worked harder than anyone he knew. She works all day and all night to take care of me and my sister. 2 jobs and she still can't afford to shop properly? Mr. Palmer said. That's pathetic. Maybe if she had stayed in school or made better choices in life, she wouldn't have to send her kid here to buy expired food and garbage. The other customers were watching now. The older woman looked uncomfortable. The young man in the suit was staring at Mr. Palmer with shock on his face. No one said anything. They just watched. Marcus felt his hands shaking. He had never been so angry and embarrassed in his life. He wanted to defend his mother. He wanted to tell Mr. Palmer that his mother was a good person, that she was doing her best, that they might be poor but they were not trashy. But the words would not come out. His throat felt tight. You know what? Mr. Palmer continued. He seemed to be enjoying himself. If your mama can't afford to shop here properly, maybe she should try the dollar store. Or better yet, maybe she should go to the food bank with all the other... Mr. Palmer did not get to finish his sentence. A deep voice cut through the air like a knife. With all the other what? Everyone in the store turned to look. From behind the last aisle, a tall figure stepped out. He was holding a shopping basket. He was wearing simple clothes, jeans and a black t-shirt. But there was no mistaking who he was. It was Vin Diesel, the famous actor. The movie star. The man from all those action movies that Marcus loved to watch on television when his mother could afford to pay the cable bill. Marcus's mouth fell open. He could not believe what he was seeing. Vin Diesel was standing in Palmer's corner store, right here, right now. And he had heard everything Mr. Palmer had said. Vin Diesel's face was serious. His jaw was tight. His eyes were fixed on Mr. Palmer. He walked slowly toward the counter, his footsteps heavy on the old floor. The store was completely silent except for the sound of his footsteps. Mr. Palmer's face had gone pale. His mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. He looked like he had seen a ghost. His small eyes were wide with shock. Vin Diesel reached the counter and placed his basket down. But he did not look at his items. He kept his eyes locked on Mr. Palmer. When he spoke, his voice was calm, but there was anger underneath it. It was the kind of calm that was more scary than yelling. "I asked you a question," Vin Diesel said. "With all the other what?" "Finish your sentence. I want to hear what you were about to say about this boy's mother." Mr. Palmer stammered. I was just... "I didn't mean..." "You didn't mean what?" Vin Diesel asked. "You didn't mean to humiliate a child in front of your customers? You didn't mean to insult a hardworking mother who is doing everything she can to feed her family?" Vin Diesel placed his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Marcus could feel the warmth and strength of that hand. It made him feel protected. It made him feel like someone was finally standing up for him and his mother. "I was shopping in the back aisle," Vin Diesel said. "I heard every single word you said to this young man. I heard how you mocked his mother's shopping list. I heard how you called her cheap and trashy and lazy. I heard how you made fun of a family for being poor." The other customers were pulling out their phones now. They were starting to record. The young man in the suit had his phone up, pointing it at the counter. The older woman was nodding her head in agreement with what Vin Diesel was saying. Mr. Palmer looked around nervously. He saw the phones. He saw the cameras pointed at him. His face went from pale to red. Sweat started to form on his forehead. "Now I'm going to give you a chance," Vin Diesel said. "I'm going to give you a chance to think about what kind of person treats a child this way. What kind of man humiliates a boy for having a mother who is smart enough to budget carefully? What kind of human being mocks people for being poor?" Marcus stood there, frozen. He could not believe this was happening. Vin Diesel, the Vin Diesel, was defending him, was standing up for his mother. Vin Diesel kept his hand on Marcus's shoulder. He could feel the boy shaking. He could see the tears on the boy's face. It made him angry. It reminded him of his own childhood, of times when people had looked down on his family because they did not have much money. Vin had come to this small town to film some scenes for his new movie. They were shooting action sequences on a closed-off street about 6 blocks away. During a break, Vin had decided to walk around the neighborhood. He liked to see real places and meet real people when he traveled for work. It kept him grounded. It reminded him where he came from. He had wandered into Palmer's corner store just to buy some water and maybe a snack. He had been in the back of the store, looking at the drinks in the refrigerator when he heard Mr. Palmer's voice. At first he did not pay attention, but then he heard the mocking tone. He heard the cruel words. He heard a child's voice trying to defend his mother. Vin had moved quietly to the end of the aisle where he could see what was happening. He saw the boy at the counter. He saw the shopping basket full of discounted items. He saw Mr. Palmer holding up the shopping list and reading it out loud like it was something shameful. And Vin felt his blood start to boil. He knew he had to do something. He could not just stand there and let this man bully a child. So he had stepped out from the aisle and spoken up. And now here he was, standing at the counter facing down a bully who was twice his age but half his courage. The store was completely silent. Everyone was watching. The phones were recording. Mr. Palmer looked like he wanted to run away, but he was trapped behind his own counter. "What's your name?" Vin asked, looking down at Marcus. Marcus wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. "Marcus," he said quietly. "Marcus Santos." "Marcus," Vin repeated, smiling gently. "That's a strong name. A warrior's name. Did you know that?" Marcus shook his head. No one had ever told him that before. "It is," Vin said. "Marcus was a great Roman emperor. Marcus Aurelius. He was a philosopher and a leader. He believed in doing what was right even when it was hard. I think you have that same strength in you." Marcus felt something warm spread through his chest. This famous man, this movie star, was saying nice things about him, was treating him with respect, was seeing him as more than just a poor kid with old shoes and expired groceries. Vin turned back to Mr. Palmer. His smile disappeared. His face became serious again. "Now I want you to explain something to me," Vin said. "I want you to explain why you thought it was okay to treat Marcus this way. Take your time. Think about your answer." Because millions of people are going to hear it. He pointed to the phones that were recording. Mr. Palmer looked at the cameras and swallowed hard. His face was covered in sweat now. I was just joking around, Mr. Palmer said weakly. I didn't mean anything by it. The kid knows I was just kidding. Do you think he looks like he was laughing? Vin asked. Do you see a smile on his face? Because all I see are tears. I see a boy who was humiliated in front of strangers for the crime of being poor. I'm sorry, Mr. Palmer said quickly. I'm sorry, okay? I made a mistake. You're sorry? Vin asked. Or are you sorry that you got caught? Are you sorry that a celebrity walked into your store and heard what you really think of your customers? Tell me, is this how you treat everyone who shops on a budget? Or just children who can't fight back? The older woman who had been shopping spoke up. He does this all the time, she said. Her voice was shaky, but she was brave enough to speak. He makes fun of people. He says mean things. I've seen him do it before. I never said anything because I need to shop here. It's the only store close to my apartment. The young man in the suit nodded. I've only been here twice, he said. But both times I saw him be rude to customers. I was going to report him, but I didn't know where to report to. He owns the store. Vin looked at the two customers and nodded. Thank you for speaking up, he said. That takes courage. He turned back to Mr. Palmer. So it's not just today. It's not just Marcus. This is who you are. This is how you treat people. Mr. Palmer opened his mouth to defend himself, but Vin raised his hand to stop him. Let me tell you something about this shopping list, Vin said. He picked up the piece of paper that was still on the counter. He read it carefully, not in a mocking way like Mr. Palmer had done, but with respect. This list tells me a lot about Marcus's mother, Vin continued. It tells me she is smart. It tells me she knows how to stretch a dollar. It tells me she is not too proud to buy day-old bread if it means her children can eat. Do you know what that is? That is called being a good parent. That is called being responsible. Marcus felt more tears come to his eyes, but these were different tears. These were tears of pride. Someone understood. Someone saw that his mother was not trashy or lazy. Someone saw that she was doing her best. My mother worked 3 jobs when I was growing up, Vin said. His voice became softer, more personal. There were times when we ate nothing but rice and beans for weeks. There were times when we wore clothes from the thrift store. There were times when we had to choose between paying the electric bill and buying food. And you know what? My mother was the strongest, bravest, most amazing person I have ever known. She taught me that being poor does not mean being worthless. She taught me that dignity is not about how much money you have. It's about how you treat people. The store was so quiet that Marcus could hear his own heartbeat. Everyone was listening to Vin's words. Even Mr. Palmer seemed to be listening, though his face was still red with shame. Marcus's mother sent him here with $30, Vin said. $30 to buy food for a family. And she made a list to help him spend that money wisely. She is teaching her son to be smart with money, to not waste, to make good choices. Those are valuable lessons. Those are the lessons that build character. Vin looked down at Marcus again. How old are you, Marcus? 12, Marcus said. 12 years old, and your mother trusts you to do the shopping. That means she has raised you to be responsible. That means you are mature enough to handle important tasks. That is something to be proud of, not something to be ashamed of. Marcus nodded. He was starting to feel better. The shame that had filled his chest was slowly being replaced by something else. Pride, strength, the feeling that maybe he and his mother were not so bad after all. Vin turned to the items in Marcus's basket. He picked up the day-old bread and looked at it. There is nothing wrong with this bread, he said. It's still good. It will taste the same tomorrow as it did yesterday. The only difference is the date on the package. Smart shoppers know this. Smart shoppers save money where they can. He picked up the carton of milk. This milk expires in 2 days. If Marcus's family drinks it before then, it's perfectly fine. Again, smart shopping. Why pay more for milk that expires in a week if you're going to drink it in 2 days? Vin went through each item in the basket, explaining why it was a good choice. He was not just defending Marcus. He was teaching everyone in the store a lesson about respect and understanding. My own mother used to do the same thing, Vin said. She would go to the store late at night because that's when they marked down the meat that was about to expire. She would buy it and cook it that same night. We ate well because of her smart choices. I never once felt poor when I sat at her table. I felt loved. I felt cared for, and that's what matters. The young man with the phone was nodding. The older woman was wiping tears from her eyes. Even some customers who had just walked in and did not know what was happening could feel the emotion in the air. "Let me ask you something, Mr. Palmer," Vin said. "When you go home tonight, are you going to feel good about yourself? Are you going to tell your family that you spent the day making fun of a 12-year-old boy and his hard-working mother? Are you going to be proud of that?" Mr. Palmer did not answer. He just stared at the counter. "I didn't think so," Vin said. "Because deep down you know what you did was wrong. You know that you used your position as the store owner to bully someone who could not fight back. You know that you tried to take away this boy's dignity. And for what? To make yourself feel bigger? To make yourself feel more important?" Vin's voice got harder. "Let me tell you something. True power is not about putting people down. True strength is not about mocking those who have less than you. Real men, real human beings lift others up. They help, they encourage, they show kindness. What you did today was not powerful. It was weak. It was cowardly." Marcus looked up at Vin with wonder. He had never heard anyone speak like this. He had never seen anyone stand up to an adult the way Vin was standing up to Mr. Palmer. It was like watching a superhero in real life. "Now, here is what is going to happen," Vin said. He crossed his arms over his chest and stood up straight. He looked like he did in his movies, strong, confident, unmovable. "You are going to give Marcus all of these groceries for free. You are going to bag them up nicely. And then you are going to apologize. Not to me, to him. You are going to look Marcus in the eyes and tell him you are sorry for the way you treated him." Mr. Palmer's face went even more red. "You can't tell me what to do in my own store," he said. But his voice had no strength in it. "You're right," Vin said calmly. "I can't force you to do anything. But I can tell my 80 million social media followers about what happened here today. I can share these videos that these nice people are recording. I can make sure that everyone knows how Palmer's Corner Store treats poor families. How does that sound?" Mr. Palmer's face changed from red to white. He looked at the phones pointed at him. He looked at Vin Diesel standing in front of him with crossed arms. He looked at the other customers who were all staring at him with disapproval. He was trapped. He had no way out. "Fine," Mr. Palmer said quietly. "Fine, I'll give him the groceries for free." "And?" Vin prompted. "And I'll apologize," Mr. Palmer mumbled. "I didn't hear you," Vin said. "Speak louder. Everyone in this store should hear you." Mr. Palmer took a deep breath. "I said I'll apologize." His voice was angry now, but it was also full of defeat. He knew he had lost. "Good," Vin said. "But before you do that, I want to explain something to you. I want to make sure you understand why what you did was so wrong." Vin turned to look at Marcus. The boy was still standing there, his eyes wide, his face still wet with tears. Vin's expression softened when he looked at the child. "Marcus," Vin said gently, "I want you to remember this moment, not because it was painful, not because someone tried to hurt you, but because of what you are learning right now. You are learning that there are people in this world who will judge you based on your circumstances. People who will try to make you feel small because you don't have as much money as they do. But you are also learning that those people are wrong." Marcus nodded slowly. He was listening to every word. "Your worth as a human being has nothing to do with how much money your family has," Vin continued. "Your value is not measured by whether you wear new shoes or old shoes. Your dignity does not depend on whether you buy expensive bread or day-old bread. Do you understand that?" "Yes, sir," Marcus said softly. "You are valuable because you are a good person," Vin said. "You are valuable because you help your mother. You are valuable because you work hard in school. You are valuable because you have love in your heart. Money comes and money goes. But character? Character is forever." The older woman in the store started clapping. Then the young man joined in. Soon everyone in the store was clapping. Even some people who had just walked in and did not know what was happening started to clap when they saw everyone else doing it. Marcus felt his chest swell with emotion. He had never received applause before. He had never been the center of positive attention like this. It felt strange. It felt good. It felt like maybe he did matter after all. Vin turned back to Mr. Palmer. The clapping died down and the store became quiet again. "Now, I want you to understand something too," Vin said to the store owner. "What you did today was not just mean. It was dangerous. You were teaching Marcus that being poor is something to be ashamed of. You were teaching him that his mother's hard work means nothing. You were planting seeds of shame in a child's heart. Do you understand how damaging that is?" Mr. Palmer looked down at his hands. He did not answer. Children believe what adults tell them. Vin continued. If you tell a child he is worthless often enough, he will start to believe it. He will grow up thinking he does not deserve good things. He will grow up with low self-esteem. He will make choices based on the lie that he is not good enough. And all of that starts with moments like this. Moments when an adult with power uses that power to tear a child down instead of building him up. The store was silent. Everyone was thinking about Vin's words. Even Mr. Palmer seemed to be thinking, though his face still showed more anger than understanding. I grew up in a neighborhood not much different from this one, Vin said. His voice became more personal. I know what it's like to be the kid with worn-out clothes. I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to feel like everyone is looking down on you. And I had moments where people treated me the way you treated Marcus today. Those moments hurt. They stayed with me for years, Vin paused. He seemed to be remembering something from his own past. His eyes looked far away for a moment like he was seeing scenes from long ago. But I also had moments where people stood up for me. Vin continued. I had teachers who believed in me. I had neighbors who helped my family. I had coaches who saw potential in me when others just saw a poor kid who would probably end up in trouble. Those people saved my life. They gave me hope. They made me believe that I could be more than my circumstances. He looked directly at Mr. Palmer. You had a choice today. You could have been one of the people who builds children up. You could have treated Marcus with kindness. You could have made him feel good about helping his mother. Instead, you chose to tear him down. You chose to be the villain in his story. Why? What did you gain from that? Mr. Palmer still did not answer. His jaw was tight. His hands were clenched into fists on the counter. He was a man who was used to being in control, used to having power in his own store, and now someone was taking that power away from him. Someone was showing him and everyone else what kind of person he really was. Let me tell you what is going to happen after today, Vin said. These videos are going to be posted online. People are going to watch them. They are going to see how you treated a child, and they are going to make judgments about you. Some people might stop shopping here. Some people might leave bad reviews. Your business might suffer, and all of that is because of the choice you made today. Mr. Palmer's eyes widened. He had not thought about the consequences. He had not realized that his actions would follow him beyond this moment. But it doesn't have to be all bad, Vin said. His voice became slightly gentler, though still firm. You can also make a different choice right now. You can genuinely apologize. You can learn from this. You can become a better person. And maybe, just maybe, people will see that you can change. That's up to you. Vin picked up Marcus's shopping list again. He read it one more time, slowly and carefully. Then he folded it and handed it back to the boy. Keep this, Vin told Marcus. Keep it as a reminder. A reminder that your mother is smart and loving and doing her best for you. A reminder that you come from strength, not weakness. And a reminder that someday, when you have more, you will remember what it was like to have less. And you will treat people with kindness because of it. Marcus took the paper with shaking hands. He folded it carefully and put it in his pocket. It was just a piece of paper with a shopping list. But now it meant so much more. It was proof of his mother's love. It was evidence of her hard work. It was a treasure. Thank you, Marcus whispered to Vin. Thank you so much. Vin smiled and put his hand on Marcus's shoulder again. You don't need to thank me, he said. I just did what any decent person should do. I stood up for what was right. And that's what I want you to learn from today. When you see someone being treated unfairly, speak up. When you see someone being bullied, step in. Use whatever power you have to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Marcus nodded seriously. He would remember these words for the rest of his life. Vin turned back to Mr. Palmer one last time. Now, he said, his voice becoming commanding again, you are going to bag up Marcus's groceries. You are going to do it carefully and respectfully, and then you are going to apologize. And I want it to be a real apology. I want you to mean it. Because if I think you are just saying words to get me to leave, we are going to have a much longer conversation. Mr. Palmer nodded slowly. He reached for the items in Marcus's basket and began scanning them. But his hands were shaking. He had never been challenged like this before. He had never had someone stand up to him. He had never had his behavior exposed and criticized in front of everyone. As Mr. Palmer scanned each item, Vin watched him carefully. The other customers watched too. The phones kept recording. The whole world was watching now in a way. This moment was being captured and would be shared thousands of times before the day was over. When all the items were scanned, Mr. Palmer looked at the total on the register. It came to $28.37. He pressed some buttons to void the transaction. Then he began bagging the groceries. He put the bread in the bag. Then the milk. Then the eggs carefully so they would not break. The rice, the chicken, the vegetables. He was being careful now. More careful than he probably ever had been when bagging groceries. He knew everyone was watching. When all the groceries were bagged, Mr. Palmer pushed the bags across the counter toward Marcus. Then he looked at the boy. Really looked at him. For the first time, he seemed to see Marcus as a person, not just as a poor kid who was beneath him. "I'm sorry," Mr. Palmer said. His voice was quiet but clear enough for everyone to hear. "I'm sorry for what I said about your mother. I'm sorry for making fun of you. I was wrong." Vin leaned forward. "Why were you wrong?" he asked. Mr. Palmer swallowed hard. "I was wrong because there's nothing shameful about being careful with money. There's nothing wrong with your mother teaching you to shop smart. She's a good mother, and I had no right to make fun of her or you." It was not the most heartfelt apology in the world, but it was something, and Marcus could tell that at least part of it was real. Marcus looked at Mr. Palmer. He could see that the man was uncomfortable. He could see the shame on his face. Part of Marcus felt good about that. The man who had hurt him was now feeling hurt himself. But another part of Marcus felt something different. He felt the lesson that Vin Diesel had been trying to teach him sinking in. Being kind was more important than being right. Forgiveness was stronger than revenge. "It's okay," Marcus said quietly. "I accept your apology." Vin smiled at Marcus. It was a proud smile. The kind of smile a father gives a son when the son does something brave and good. "That took courage," Vin told Marcus. "Forgiving someone who hurt you is one of the hardest things a person can do, but it's also one of the most important." Marcus picked up his bags of groceries. They felt heavier now, not just with food, but with everything that had happened. He turned to leave, but Vin stopped him. "Wait," Vin said. "I'm not done shopping yet. Let me get my things and we'll walk out together." Vin went back to the aisle where he had been shopping and picked up his basket. He brought it to the counter. Mr. Palmer started scanning Vin's items: bottles of water, some protein bars, fresh fruit, and a few other things. But then Vin started adding more items to the counter. He went back to the aisles and returned with his arms full. Fresh bread, the expensive kind. A big carton of milk that would not expire for a week. A large package of chicken breast. Fresh vegetables with no bruises. A box of eggs. Rice. And then he added other things too. Cereal, pasta, sauce, cheese, lunch meat, snacks, juice boxes, cookies. Marcus watched with confusion. Why was Vin buying so much food? Vin kept going back to the aisles and bringing more items. He got peanut butter and jelly, bread for sandwiches, apples and bananas, carrots and lettuce. He got things that Marcus's family never bought because they were too expensive. He got the good brands, the fresh things, the items that were not on sale. The pile on the counter grew bigger and bigger. Mr. Palmer scanned each item silently. His hands had stopped shaking. He was working mechanically now, scanning and bagging, not looking anyone in the eye. "What are you doing?" Marcus finally asked Vin. Vin turned to him with a warm smile. "I'm buying groceries," he said simply. "But that's too much food for one person," Marcus said. "You're right," Vin agreed. "It is too much for one person. That's why it's not all for me." Marcus's eyes went wide. "You mean?" "I mean that your family is going to have a full refrigerator tonight," Vin said. "Your mother works 2 jobs. She deserves to come home and not worry about where the next meal is coming from. And you and your sister deserve to eat well. Growing kids need good food." Marcus felt tears coming to his eyes again. But these were completely different from the tears he had cried earlier. These were tears of gratitude, tears of overwhelming emotion. He could not believe this was happening. I can't. We can't accept that. Marcus stammered. It's too much. Yes, you can, Vin said firmly but kindly. And you will. Sometimes people need help. There's no shame in that. Your mother helps people every day with her work. She serves food to hungry people. She cleans offices so people have nice places to work. She gives her time and energy to others. Now it's time for someone to give something back to her. Vin added even more items to the pile. He got a large package of diapers. Your sister is 6, right? He asked Marcus. Yes, but she doesn't need diapers anymore, Marcus said. My mistake, Vin said. He put the diapers back and instead picked up some children's books and coloring supplies. Every kid should have books and things to create with, he explained. When Vin finally stopped adding items, the counter was covered with bags of groceries. Mr. Palmer had filled 15 bags. The total on the register read $347.62. Mr. Palmer looked at the number and then at Vin. Vin pulled out his wallet and handed over his credit card without hesitation. Mr. Palmer ran the card. The transaction went through. You need help carrying all this? Mr. Palmer asked quietly. It was the first time he had offered to help anyone in a long time. That would be good, Vin said. Thank you. Mr. Palmer called to a teenage boy who was stocking shelves in the back. Jimmy, come help carry these bags out too. Where are you parked? He looked at Vin. I walked here, Vin said. My car is back at the film set. But Marcus lives close by, right? Marcus nodded. Just 2 blocks away. Then we'll walk, Vin said. Jimmy can help us carry the bags to Marcus's apartment. The teenage boy named Jimmy came over. His eyes got wide when he saw Vin Diesel. Oh man, he whispered. You're really him. Vin smiled and shook the boy's hand. Nice to meet you, Jimmy. Thanks for helping us out. Jimmy looked like he might faint from excitement, but he managed to grab several bags. Vin took as many as he could carry. Marcus took his original 2 bags plus 2 more. The older woman who had been shopping offered to help too. So did the young man in the suit. Together they all walked out of Palmer's corner store carrying bags of groceries. As they left, Vin turned back one more time. He looked at Mr. Palmer, who was standing behind his counter looking small and defeated. I hope you learned something today, Vin said. I hope you remember this and treat your customers better from now on. Everyone who walks through that door deserves respect. Everyone, rich or poor, young or old. Every single person has dignity. Don't ever forget that. Mr. Palmer nodded. He did not say anything, but Vin could see that the message had gotten through. Whether the man would actually change was up to him, but at least the seed had been planted. The group walked down the street toward Marcus's apartment. People on the street stared as they passed. They recognized Vin Diesel. Some pulled out their phones to take pictures. Some called out to him. Vin waved and smiled but did not stop. He was on a mission. Marcus led the way to his building. They climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. The hallway was dim and smelled like old cooking and mildew. Some of the doors had peeling paint. The carpet was worn and stained, but Vin did not seem to notice or care. He just followed Marcus to apartment 3C. Marcus pulled out his key and opened the door. Mom's not home yet, he said. She's picking up my sister. That's okay, Vin said. We'll just put everything inside for her. They all filed into the small apartment. It was clean but very old. The furniture was mismatched and worn. The walls needed paint. The kitchen was tiny. But there was love in this place. Vin could see it in the family photos on the wall. He could see it in the children's drawings stuck to the refrigerator with magnets. He could see it in how neat and organized everything was despite being old. They put all the bags on the small kitchen counter and the table. There were so many bags that they barely fit. The older woman helped Marcus start putting things away in the refrigerator and cabinets. Jimmy just stood there staring at Vin Diesel in amazement. "This is so cool," Jimmy kept saying. "Wait until I tell everyone at school." Vin Diesel was at the store. "Vin Diesel came to this apartment. This is the coolest thing that has ever happened to me." Vin laughed. "Glad I could make your day interesting," he said. When most of the groceries were put away, the older woman and Jimmy said goodbye and left. The young man in the suit shook Vin's hand and thanked him for standing up for what was right. "I work in social media marketing," the young man said. "I'm going to make sure this story gets told. The world needs to hear about what you did today. Just make sure the focus is on Marcus and families like his," Vin said. "Not on me. I want people to learn to treat each other better. That's what matters." The young man nodded and left. Now it was just Vin and Marcus in the small apartment. Vin sat down on the old couch. He looked around the room, taking everything in. "Your mother has done a good job making this feel like a home," Vin said. "I can tell she loves you very much." "She does," Marcus said. He sat down on the other end of the couch. "She's the best mom in the world. I just wish I could do more to help her. I wish I could make money so she wouldn't have to work so hard." "You help her more than you know," Vin said. "You're a good kid. You do your homework. You help with shopping. You take care of your sister. Those things matter. Your mother knows that you love her and that you're grateful. That gives her strength to keep going." Marcus nodded. He understood, but he still wished he could do more. Vin reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet again. He took out a business card and a pen. He wrote something on the back of the card and handed it to Marcus. "This is my personal phone number," Vin said. "I want you to give this to your mother when she gets home. Tell her to call me. I have some connections with companies here in town, companies that are hiring, companies that pay well and offer benefits. If she's interested in a better job, I can help make some introductions." Marcus took the card with shaking hands. He looked at the number written in Vin's handwriting. This was not a joke. This was real. Vin Diesel was giving his mother a chance at a better life. "Why?" Marcus asked. "Why are you doing all this for us? You don't even know us." Vin smiled sadly. "Because someone did it for me once," he said. Vin Diesel looked at Marcus with eyes that held years of memories. He leaned back on the old couch and took a deep breath before he began to speak. "When I was about your age," Vin said, "maybe a little older, my family was struggling too. My stepfather worked hard, but there were a lot of us kids to feed. My mother did everything she could, but sometimes it wasn't enough. I remember going to school hungry. I remember wearing the same clothes over and over. I remember feeling ashamed when other kids had things I didn't have." Marcus listened carefully. He had never imagined that someone as famous and successful as Vin Diesel had once been like him. "One day," Vin continued, "I got into trouble at school. I was angry about being poor. I was angry about being different. I got into a fight with another kid who made fun of my clothes. They were going to suspend me, maybe even expel me. But there was this youth counselor, this man named Mr. Richardson, who stepped in." Vin's voice became softer, more emotional. "Mr. Richardson talked to the principal. He vouched for me. He said I was a good kid who just needed some guidance and support. Because of him, I didn't get expelled. Instead, I had to join an after-school program. And that program changed my life." "How?" Marcus asked. "It was a theater program," Vin said with a smile. "I had never acted before. I thought theater was stupid. But Mr. Richardson made me go, and once I started, I found something I loved. I found a way to express all the anger and frustration I felt. I found a place where I belonged. I found my purpose. Vin looked around the small apartment again. But here's the thing. Mr. Richardson did more than just save me from getting expelled. He saw potential in me when others just saw a troubled kid. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. He opened doors for me, and because of him I am who I am today. Marcus felt goosebumps on his arms. This story was powerful. It made him think about his own life in a new way. Before Mr. Richardson died, Vin continued, I went to visit him. I was already making movies by then. I had money. I was becoming famous. I wanted to thank him for what he did for me. And you know what he said? Marcus shook his head. He said, don't thank me. Pay it forward. When you see someone who needs help, someone who needs someone to believe in them, be that person for them. That's how you thank me. Vin looked directly into Marcus's eyes. So that's what I'm doing. I'm paying it forward. Mr. Richardson helped me. Now I help you. And someday, when you're older and you have the ability to help someone else, you'll pay it forward too. That's how we make the world better. One person at a time. One act of kindness at a time. Marcus felt tears rolling down his cheeks, but he didn't wipe them away. He let them fall. These were good tears. These were tears of understanding and hope. I promise, Marcus said. I promise that when I grow up, I'll help people the way you helped me. I'll remember this day forever. I know you will, Vin said. He stood up from the couch. I need to get back to the film set. They're probably wondering where I disappeared to. But I want you to remember something, Marcus. What happened today at that store, that was wrong. But it doesn't define you. You define you. Your actions, your choices, your character, that's what matters. Don't let anyone ever make you feel less than you are. Marcus stood up too. He wanted to hug Vin, but he felt shy. Vin saw the hesitation and pulled the boy into a big hug. Marcus hugged him back, holding on tight to this moment, this feeling, this memory. When they let go, Vin walked to the door. But before he left, he turned back one more time. One more thing, Vin said. I'm serious about that phone number. Have your mother call me. And Marcus, keep working hard in school. Keep being a good son and a good brother. Keep being you. The world needs more people like you. And then he was gone. Marcus stood in the doorway and watched Vin walk down the hallway and disappear down the stairs. For a moment, Marcus wondered if it had all been a dream. But then he looked at the business card in his hand. He looked at the kitchen full of groceries. It was real. All of it was real. Marcus went to the kitchen and looked at all the food. The refrigerator was full for the first time in months. The cabinets had good food in them. There were treats and snacks. There was enough food for weeks. His mother would not have to worry for a while. She could relax. She could breathe. 20 minutes later, Marcus heard a key in the door. His mother walked in carrying Sophia in her arms. Sophia was half asleep, her head resting on their mother's shoulder. Marcus, I'm sorry I took so long, Maria said. The daycare had a lot of parents picking up at the same time and we had to wait. Did you get the groceries? Marcus didn't know where to start. How could he explain everything that had happened? Mom, he said. You need to sit down. Maria looked at him with concern. She saw that his eyes were red from crying. What happened? Are you okay? Did something go wrong? No, Marcus said quickly. I mean, yes, something happened. But I'm okay. More than okay, just please sit down. Maria put Sophia on the couch. The little girl curled up and continued sleeping. Maria sat down next to her and looked at Marcus with worried eyes. Marcus told her everything. He told her about going to the store. He told her about Mr. Palmer and how he had read the shopping list out loud and made fun of them. He saw his mother's face change, saw the hurt and anger and shame pass across it. But then he told her about Vin Diesel. He told her how the famous actor had stepped in and defended them. He told her about the groceries Vin had bought. He told her about the business card with the phone number. As Marcus talked, Maria's hands went to her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. When Marcus finished his story, she stood up and went to the kitchen. She saw all the groceries. She opened the refrigerator and saw it full of food. She opened the cabinets and saw them stocked with good things. Maria broke down crying. She leaned against the counter and sobbed. But these were not tears of sadness. These were tears of relief. Tears of gratitude. Tears of overwhelming emotion. Marcus ran to his mother and hugged her. "Don't cry, Mom," he said. "It's okay. Everything is okay now." "I know," Maria said through her tears. "I'm crying because I'm happy. I'm crying because someone was kind to us. I'm crying because a stranger saw us and helped us." She held Marcus tight. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that at the store," she said. "I'm so sorry that man said those terrible things about us." "It's okay, Mom," Marcus said. "Vin Diesel made it better. He taught me something important. He taught me that being poor doesn't make us bad. He taught me that you're amazing for working so hard and being so smart with money. He taught me to be proud of who we are." Maria pulled back and looked at her son. She saw something different in his eyes. He looked older somehow, more confident, stronger. "Show me the business card," she said. Marcus pulled it from his pocket and handed it to her. Maria read it carefully. On the front was Vin Diesel's name and his agent's contact information. On the back, in handwriting, was a phone number and the words, "Call me. I can help. Vin." Maria stared at the card for a long time. "Did he really say he could help me find a better job?" "Yes," Marcus said. "He said he knows companies that are hiring. Companies that pay well and have benefits. He wants to help us, Mom. He really does." Maria sat back down on the couch. She looked at Sophia sleeping peacefully. She looked at Marcus standing in front of her, looking hopeful and excited. She looked at the kitchen full of groceries. And she made a decision. "I'm going to call him," she said. "Tomorrow. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to let someone help us." Marcus smiled the biggest smile. "Really?" "Really," Maria said. "We've been struggling alone for so long. Maybe it's time to accept help when it's offered. Your Vin Diesel is right. There's no shame in accepting kindness." That night, the Santos family had the best dinner they'd had in months. Maria cooked fresh chicken with vegetables and rice. There was enough food that they could have seconds. For dessert, they had cookies that Vin had bought. Sophia woke up and was delighted by the feast. She clapped her hands and said it was like a birthday party. As they ate, Marcus told his sister a simplified version of what had happened. He told her about the nice man who bought them groceries. Sophia wanted to know if the nice man was a prince. Marcus laughed and said he was better than a prince. He was a hero. After dinner, after Sophia was in bed, Maria sat at the small kitchen table with the business card in her hand. She looked at it for a long time. Part of her was afraid to call. What if it was a mistake? What if Vin Diesel forgot about them? What if nothing came of it? But another part of her was hopeful. What if this was the chance they needed? What if this was the door opening to a better life? The next morning, Maria made the call. Her hands shook as she dialed the number. The phone rang 3 times. Then a voice answered. It was Vin. "Hello? Mr. Diesel? This is Maria Santos. I'm Marcus's mother. He said you told him to have me call you." "Maria!" Vin's voice was warm and friendly. "Yes, I'm so glad you called. How is Marcus doing?" "He's good," Maria said. "He's at school right now. Mr. Diesel, I don't know how to thank you for what you did yesterday. The groceries, standing up for my son. You didn't have to do any of that. Please call me Vin," he said. And yes, I did have to. I couldn't stand by and watch that happen. No one should treat people the way that store owner treated Marcus. "Well, thank you," Maria said. "Marcus told me you might be able to help me find a better job. I want you to know I'm not asking for charity. I'm willing to work hard. I just need a chance." "I know you work hard," Vin said. "Marcus told me you have 2 jobs. That takes incredible strength and dedication. I have a friend who owns a medical supply company here in town. They're looking for people for various positions. Warehouse, office, customer service. They pay well and offer health insurance, paid time off, all the benefits. Would you be interested in talking to them?" Maria felt her heart racing. Health insurance? She hadn't had health insurance in 3 years. Paid time off? She couldn't remember the last time she had a day off. Yes, she said. Yes, I would be very interested. Great, Vin said.